Deep beneath the Grand Republic medical facility, hidden within the forgotten depths of Coruscant, Sheev Palpatine stood over a glowing Sith shrine. The Clone Wars were reaching their climax, and the Chancellor sought to cast a final, permanent shadow over the Jedi Order. He channeled centuries of dark side energy, straining to bend the cosmic threads of fate entirely to his will. Then, the shrine ruptured. A blinding surge of crimson lightning erupted from the altar, violently coursing through Palpatine's body. He collapsed onto the cold durasteel floor, gasping for air. The agony was not physical, it was an unimaginable, deafening emptiness. The dark side, which had flowed through him like a roaring river for decades, suddenly evaporated. Palpatine scrambled to his feet, raising a trembling hand to summon his dropped lightsaber. Nothing happened. He reached outward into the galaxy, searching for the familiar tides of fear and hatred he had manipulated for years. There was only silence. He could no longer throw Force lightning. He could no longer sense the future. The grand architect of the Sith was completely, permanently deaf to the Force. Panic seized the Chancellor's heart. His entire strategy relied on predicting his enemy's moves and clouding the vision of the Jedi. Now, he was just an old man trapped in a web of his own making. Panic threatened to consume him, but his dark ambition refused to die. If he could no longer rely on the Force to conquer the galaxy, he would have to use the only weapon he had left: raw, brutal political power. Sitting back in his executive office, Palpatine stared out at the Coruscant skyline, his mind racing. He had lost his dark power, but the Republic was still under his thumb for now. Without the dark side to guide his subtle manipulations, Sheev Palpatine was forced to change his strategy overnight. He could no longer subtly cloud the minds of senators during private conversations, nor could he rely on precognition to dodge political ambushes. Instead, he unleashed a ruthless campaign of pure political terror. From the shadows of the Senate Executive Building, Palpatine activated decades of gathered intelligence. He dispatched anonymous black market threats to fence-sitting politicians, threatening to leak evidence of their corporate corruption if they did not vote to expand his executive authority. He bought out major HoloNet news networks, bombarding the Republic with aggressive propaganda that painted the Republic military as the sole protectors of peace. To finance his sudden campaign of intimidation, the Chancellor targeted the intergalactic banking clan. Through illegal backroom deals and forced nationalization, he seized massive financial assets, funneling trillions of credits into private security forces and political bribes. Yet, the strain was breaking him. Every press conference felt like walking a tightrope over an abyss. When Senator Bail Organa openly questioned the Chancellor's latest emergency decree, Palpatine could no longer sense whether Organa was acting on a hunch or actively investigating him. The master strategist was now playing chess, completely blind. Late into the Coruscant night, Palpatine stared at the glowing Senate floor, realizing that fear alone could only hold his empire together for so long. The Jedi were getting closer, and without his dark foresights, he was running out of time. And somewhere in the Jedi Temple, two Grand Masters were finally beginning to notice that the blinding fog over the Force had suddenly lifted. Inside the High Jedi Council Chamber, Grand Master Yoda sat in deep meditation. For years, attempting to peer into the Force felt like looking through a thick, toxic fog. But on this quiet morning, the dark cloud vanished. The light returned with a sudden, overwhelming clarity that made the ancient master snap his eyes open. Across the chamber, Mace Windu felt the shift immediately. The constant, ambient pressure of the dark side that had weighed on their minds for the past 3 years was simply gone. It was not because the dark side had won, but because the source casting the shadow had been stripped of its power. Yoda and Windu immediately locked eyes. They did not need words to understand what had occurred. With the mental veil lifted, the Jedi Masters reached out through the Force, tracing the lingering echoes of dark energy back to its absolute origin point. The path led directly out of the temple, across the shining spires of the Senate District, and straight into the Chancellor's private office. The Sith Lord. Hidden in plain sight, he was Yoda whispered, his voice trembling with a mix of shock and tragic realization. Mace Windu's hand instantly fell to his lightsaber hilt, his face hardening into granite. The mysterious Darth Sidious was not an unseen phantom operating from the Outer Rim. He was Sheev Palpatine, the man currently holding total authority over the Republic's Grand Army. Windu summoned the Council's most formidable swordsmen to assemble at once. The Jedi were no longer blind, and they were not going to wait for the Chancellor to make the first move. They were going to arrest him immediately. Anakin Skywalker paced restlessly through the hallways of the Jedi Temple. Conflicted by nightmare visions of Padme and pulled by his fierce loyalty to Chancellor Palpatine, the young knight felt pushed to his absolute limit. Palpatine had promised him powers that could conquer death itself, powers that only a master of the dark side could possess. Seeking guidance, Anakin reached out through the Force, attempting to sense his trusted mentor from across the city. What he expected was a warm, reassuring presence, or perhaps the staggering power Palpatine had subtly hinted at. Instead, Anakin felt absolute emptiness. Confused, Anakin focused harder, pushing his senses deep into the Chancellor's office. He found no Dark Lord, no cosmic master of destiny. He sensed only an aging, terrified man, whose heart raced with cold, desperate panic. The grand illusion was completely shattered. Palpatine was not a powerful savior capable of conquering death. He was a powerless, deceptive fraud who had lied to him from the very beginning. A wave of intense anger swept over Anakin, followed quickly by a cold, sobering clarity. The promises of saving Padme through dark magic were nothing but empty lies constructed to manipulate his fear. The pedestal he had placed Palpatine on crumbled into dust. Igniting his blue lightsaber in the empty hallway, Anakin felt his loyalty to the Chancellor die. He was not going to fall to the dark side for a liar. Turning on his heel, Anakin marched straight toward Master Windu's strike team, ready to bring down the traitor himself. Inside his vast red office, Sheev Palpatine paced like a caged animal. Reports from his network of spies confirmed his worst fears. A strike team of Jedi Masters, led by Mace Windu and Anakin Skywalker, had just boarded a speeder bound for the executive building. Without his dark side foresight, Palpatine had no way of knowing if his political contingencies would hold. He pulled out his Sith lightsaber from its hidden compartment, but his hands shook violently. Without the Force to guide his movements, he was just an old man holding a dangerous piece of metal. He could not fight 4 Jedi Masters in combat and survive. Terror took complete control of the Supreme Chancellor. Abandoning years of precise, calculated planning, Palpatine rushed to his encrypted communication console. He bypassed security protocols and opened a direct, galaxy-wide military channel. "Execute. Order 66, Palpatine ordered, his voice echoing frantically through the receiver. The command echoed out across thousands of worlds, but the timing was disastrously wrong. The Clone Wars were not over. The Jedi generals were actively leading their troops in the middle of fierce, chaotic battles across the Outer Rim, far from the controlled environments Palpatine had originally intended. Because the Chancellor issued the command out of sheer panic, he failed to isolate the Jedi beforehand. The signal was broadcast on an open military frequency, instantly pinging the communication arrays at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant before the clones could fire a single shot. Palpatine watched the transmission light blink off, realizing he had just placed all his cards on a desperate, uncoordinated gamble. The moment Palpatine's panicked command bounced off the Republic relay satellites, the communications hub inside the Jedi Temple intercepted the transmission. Alerted by the strange high-level override signal, the Temple guards instantly broadcast a priority warning to every Jedi commander across the galaxy. In the Outer Rim, Obi-Wan Kenobi received the Temple's warning seconds before Commander Cody raised his blaster. Warned of the incoming threat, Obi-Wan deflected the incoming fire, disarming his commander and leaping to safety before the clone detachment could surround him. On Megiddo, Felucia, and Kashyyyk, similar scenes played out. While some Jedi fell to the sudden betrayal, the vast majority were alerted just in time. The clones, acting on forced organic brain chips rather than strategic positioning, attacked blindly and without coordination. Jedi Masters easily overwhelmed the confused troopers, stunning their loyal squads rather than destroying them, quickly realizing the soldiers were under some form of mind control. Back on Coruscant, Mace Windu's strike team marched directly into the Chancellor's office. They did not find a formidable Sith Lord ready to spring an ambush. They found a frantic, trembling politician surrounded by useless datapads and a drawn, unlit lightsaber.
"In the name of the Galactic Senate of the Republic, you are under arrest, Chancellor," Mace Windu declared, his blade igniting with a sharp snap. Palpatine backed against the high glass window, realizing his military coup had completely failed. The Jedi Order had survived, and his treason was now exposed to the entire galaxy. Using a hidden escape pod beneath his office desk, Palpatine plummeted into the dark, smog-choked depths of Coruscant's underworld, barely escaping Mace Windu's blade. Within hours, the Senate declared him a traitor, stripping him of all executive titles and freezing his vast financial accounts. Reaching out to his separatist ally, Count Dooku, Palpatine demanded an immediate extraction fleet and military protection. But Dooku, realizing his master had lost his connection to the Force and was now a useless liability, cold-bloodedly severed communications. The Sith Master was abandoned by his own apprentice. Trapped in the neon-lit slums of Level 1313, Palpatine's mind broke completely. He refused to accept defeat. Using stolen Republic credits, he hired ruthless bounty hunters and acquired experimental cybernetic weaponry, fitting himself with crude mechanical armaments designed to simulate the dark side power he had lost. Days later, Anakin Skywalker and a squad of temple guards tracked the rogue politician to an abandoned warehouse. Palpatine emerged from the shadows, a tragic, horrifying shadow of his former self, wielding mechanical gauntlets that sparked with volatile artificial electricity. "I am the Senate," Palpatine shrieked, firing a barrage of unstable blue sparks toward his former pupil. Anakin did not even step back. With an effortless sweep of his lightsaber, he severed the mechanical weapons from Palpatine's arms. The former Chancellor fell to his knees, completely defeated, his grand vision of a galactic empire dying in the dark, forgotten filth of the underworld. In the aftermath of Palpatine's trial and permanent imprisonment, the Republic underwent a dramatic political rebirth. The Jedi Council voluntarily stepped down from their military leadership roles, returning the Grand Army's command to the Senate, while advocating for strict legal limits on executive authority to prevent future dictators from rising. The biochips inside the clone troopers were safely removed, ending the threat of Order 66 and granting the soldiers full citizenship rights within the Republic. The Clone Wars came to a swift, diplomatic end, without the master puppeteer driving conflict from both sides. Inside the Jedi Temple, Anakin Skywalker stood before Master Yoda and Mace Windu. Having faced his deepest fears and witnessed the pathetic fall of the man who tried to manipulate him, Anakin made a life-altering choice. He formally resigned from the Jedi Order, laying his lightsaber on the council table. "Your path, your own it is, Master Skywalker," Yoda said softly, bowing his head in deep respect for the young man's maturity. Anakin smiled, feeling a profound sense of peace he had never known before. He walked out of the temple doors and into the bright Coruscant sunlight, where Padme was waiting for him. Together, they retired to the serene, quiet world of Naboo, ready to raise Luke and Leia far away from the shadows of war, under the sky of a peaceful galaxy.